guys, go make yourself a cup of your favorite tea because it is tea time. A good old-fashioned sit down and chat with you tea time. And today I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind a lot lately actually. And it is the topic of vegan versus zero waste, or kind of ethical versus sustainable, and how all of this kind of works together. So let's start at the beginning. Everywhere around me I'm starting to see more and more kind of conscious consumerism. So I feel like people are starting to really have an interest in what they are buying, where everything comes from, and what happens to the products that they purchase after they are done with them. And I feel like this is a really good trend, a really good development. I feel like this gives us and also companies, that offer us the products, the opportunity to really look at the processes and try to kind of optimize things and make everything, more sustainable, healthier, and just better by modern standards. So as you may know, I have been interested in kind of plant-based living, veganism, if you will. For a while now, I have been plant-based at home for well over 2 years. Really now. So the reason why I decided to limit my animal product intake in food specifically, but also, wherever I can in other parts of my life as well, is that, well, first of all, for ethical reasons, I personally don't really feel comfortable with the way that kind of animal farming is done in Western society nowadays, or kind of in general in the world. I am not necessarily against using animal products as a concept. I feel like we live on a rather strange planet when looking at it from our perspective now, where there's, a circle of life and organisms need other living organisms to survive, and that is just the way it is. And that being as such, I don't believe that a fully 100% vegan lifestyle is at all possible at this point, where we are right now with society and the planet. For me, it's personal kind of ethical reasons. I'm just very uncomfortable with seeing animals get hurt and get killed. I am a product of my time, of course, and my society, so I may have had a completely different view of this had I been born in a different day and age and location. I also am privileged, I hate that word, enough that I get to, choose what I want to eat on a daily basis, and I get to make a choice that has less of an impact on the animals around me. So I do choose to make that choice because I can. I feel like I don't need animal products in my diet to survive, so I'd rather not eat them. And also I feel like the way we do farm animals nowadays has such a huge impact on the planet, and there is just too much animal agriculture right now to be sustainable. So those are the reasons why I chose to kind of limit my animal intake, and I still stand by those. But when it comes to food, I don't find it difficult to make the more animal-friendly choice at all. I feel like where I live right now, there are plenty of kind of vegan choices for me to choose from, that I can live a relatively normal life, and making the more kind of conscious choice that is more ethical, in my opinion, at this moment in time. But when I do find it a little bit harder is when I try to pull kind of veganism into other parts of my life. And especially when I try to kind of merge that with what I guess you could say is the zero waste movement. Let me just put my tea down because I'm gonna spill it. This is something that I have found an interest in a little bit more recently. I have been researching this a lot, kind of ways you can reduce your waste production. Actually, since moving into this house, we have had the option to recycle our plastics. So we have been separating our plastics. We have a little recycling station set up in the kitchen. So I have been much more conscious of how much of each type of waste we actually produce. And there has been so much plastic. Like, it is ridiculous once you start paying attention to it, how much plastic you go through as kind of like a normal person in your day-to-day life. So I have really been trying to consciously kind of reduce that, find ways that I can, lessen my impact when it comes to plastic waste. And once again, there are ways that I can do this fairly easily, like for example, getting reusable storage containers, other kind of reusable things. I'm thinking of making a video pretty soon where I kind of talk about really easy changes you can make to reduce kind of waste production and the things that I have been using to do that. Some of the changes have been really easy, but then there are some things where I struggle, and that is mostly where the more environmentally friendly choice, kind of as compared to single use or plastic, is not vegan. So for example, take clothing. I feel like very often the options are either an animal product, like most often wool, or a synthetic fabric, which is essentially plastic. Obviously, preferably I would buy cotton everything, but cotton just isn't an option for all types of clothing. So for example, anything knitted, sweaters, lots of winter wear. And the thing I struggle with most in this is actually outerwear. So coats and shoes and things like that. I feel like with those, it's either animal product or plastic, and I just can't figure out which is better or which is worse. So let's say you have a leather jacket, for example. So on the one hand, you have the real leather. You have to, you know, birth a cow, raise it, feed it. Then it has to be killed. You have to produce the leather, and etc., etc. But then that coat lasts a really long time, and when you're done with it, it can kind of disappear back into nature almost entirely. Whereas on the other hand, buying faux leather, you have to, you know, produce the plastic, and then after you're done with it, which will be much quicker than the real leather probably. I've never had a faux leather jacket really last more than 3 or 4 years for me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard that most of the plastics we produce, we aren't actually able to recycle fully. So there's always a little bit of waste, or we're not able to recycle them at all, kind of depending on the type. But I'm kind of in the dark here, so please do correct me if I'm wrong on this. But for what I understand right now, it's really hard to get rid of plastic in a kind of responsible way. So this is something that I find myself weighing against each other a lot, kind of in my day-to-day life. So usually the more sustainable option, the more environmentally friendly option is the animal products versus the plastic, which even though you don't have to kill animals to make plastic directly, the plastic that ends up in landfills and kind of, you know, in the water supply and everything does end up killing animals as well in the end. May not be a cow, maybe a sea turtle. I don't know if I'm stretching this way too far. I want to have a discussion with you guys on this topic, because it's something that really interests me and I'd love to hear different views on this. So how do you feel about this? Where do you draw the line? What is your priority? Is it that things are, you know, biodegradable, or that they are vegan and kind of perfectly animal friendly? Do you only ever buy secondhand stuff? You know, in what ways do you implement these things into your life? Because I also feel like there is a way around everything when you try really, really hard, but that's kind of the thing. Trying really, really hard. If I want to go there, I feel like I'd have to start living a lifestyle that is conventionally viewed as pretty extreme. And I wonder if the extent to which you have to change your life, which is pretty dramatic, and kind of exclude yourself from normal society in a way, because that is in fact what will happen, or it has been in my experience. Like, how is the balance between the impact you have to make on your personal life, you know, be fully vegan and zero waste, kind of in regards to the impact that you actually make on the environment? Is that, like, I don't want to say is it worth it, because that's so personal, but like is that even closely balanced? Okay, so what I do think I have figured out so far is that I feel like reusable is always better than single use, no matter if it's, you know, animal product or plastic. You should reuse as much as you can. If you can recycle, you have the option to recycle, you should always recycle. Local is very likely better than imported, just because of the impact that, you know, flying and everything, products over and shipping makes. But this is just something I have been thinking about a lot lately, and I'm a little bit lost on, and I'd love to hear as many different opinions as I can. So I do encourage you guys to go down into the comments, let me know what you think, engage in conversations. Before you do go down, I would like to encourage you to keep things civil. I know these are topics that people can get really heated over, but I'd like to encourage a, you know, productive and respectful civil conversation. So I will be monitoring comments if things go out of hand. I will be there to kind of, you know, step in. So do keep that in mind. Please be respectful of each other and be open to different opinions. And I would love to read as many different opinions as I can. So do let me know what you think. How are you kind of trying to lessen your impact on the earth? Are you at all? Let me know your views. I would love to hear. I think that's gonna be it for this video. Keep your eye out for that kind of zero waste little things that I have changed around my life to lessen my impact video, which will be up soon. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for loads more beauty and lifestyle content. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, there will be a link in the description box below. Thank you so much. There's another video here that you may also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. or in the comments below. Bye guys.